out there in front of you.
May I have your attention, please? Would all those in attendance please stand for the presentation of the colors by the Memphis Police Department Color Guard and remain standing for our national anthem, which will be sung by the Memphis Police Department Peacemakers.
Mark time. March. Color. Halt. Left. Hey. Present. On.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free? and the home of the brave.
Order. One. Right. Feet. Forward. March.
Please be seated. Out of respect of the ceremony and the honorees, I would ask that you take this opportunity to please silence all cell phones. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dennis McNeil, Sr. with the Memphis Police Department and Commander of Training. Director Rollins, Memphis Police Department Command Staff, honorees, guests, family, and friends, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the 2020 Commendation Ceremony for the Memphis Police Department. In this very room, I want you to look around and know that you are among the small percentage of who represent the Memphis Police Department. We have nearly 2,100 commissioned officers and our robust civilian support staff that make up the entire department. Our men and women are doing good things out here in our city and in the streets. During our ceremony this afternoon, you will hear stories about this group that will make you just as proud of them as I am, for they are truly Memphis' finest. Before we get started, I would like to call for Dr. Steve Gaines of Bellevue Baptist Church for the invocation.
On behalf of Bellevue Baptist Church, thank you so much for all that you do to serve our city and to serve all the people of Memphis. We are so grateful for you, and we pray for you, and we want to encourage you. Let's pray together. Our Father, we thank you so much for the people who are in this room. We thank you that, Lord, they are your servants. Lord, I want to thank you that each of them is special. You created them in your image. And Lord God, you do have a plan for their lives, and I just pray your protection over them. I pray, dear God, that no evil will befall them. No plague will come near their dwelling, that you would give your angels charge concerning them to guard them in all of their ways. I pray for their families, dear God, that you would encourage them. I pray that you'll keep them safe, Heavenly Father, and I pray that you will give them wisdom. Lord, I pray that they will hear your voice behind them saying, this is the way. Walk in it whenever they turn to the right or the left. Thank you for them. Thank you for the godly example so many of them are, Lord, to people all over this city. Bless them, keep them, make your face shine upon them. Give your glory, dear God. Let your glory be magnified through their ministry. And God, we just pray that the good hand of God be upon them. In Jesus' name, amen.
At this time, I would ask you, please, in order for us to comply with CDC recommendations, that everyone please wear their mask. At this time, I'm also honored to introduce to you our friends, two well-loved Memphians, our mistress and master of ceremonies, George Peterson and Ron Childers. George Peterson is an award-winning anchor and reporter for WMC Action News 5. She's been delivering the news to Mid-Southerners for more than 25 years. Joyce is a second-generation TV journalist, following in her mother's footsteps. She graduated from Miami University in Ohio, Oxford, Ohio, and worked at television stations in Ohio and Illinois before moving to Memphis. Joyce is married to WMC Action News chief meteorologist and our co-MC, Ron Childers. Ron Childers is a native Memphian and second-generation Mexican-American. Ron's broadcasting career began in Memphis radio in the early 1980s at WRVR, then on to WMC FM 100. In 1989, Ron moved from radio to television as marketing and promotion producer and part-time weathercaster for WMC Action News 5. In the mid-90s, Ron pursued weather full-time and went on to get his certificate in broadcasting from Mississippi State University. In 2011, Ron was awarded the Humanitarian of the Year Award from Diversity Memphis for his civic and charitable work in the community.
All right, we live in the same household, so we're removing our masks.
I have got to get y'all a new picture. This is 2020, y'all. Before we begin, first of all, Pastor Gaines, thank you for opening this beautiful church and place of worship to us this afternoon. Thank you very much for your hospitality. And I don't know about you guys, but after that national anthem song by the Peacemakers, I wanted to cheer. Can we give them a big round of applause? And for our color guard. That gave me goosebumps. I love that. So.
And a big round of applause for everyone in this room, all of the officers who work so hard every day, their family members who worry every day that their loved one will come home safely at the end of the day. Very weird year, right? Very weird. So thank you to everyone in this room who works so hard normally, but in the weirdest of years in our lifetime, you're still doing what you do so well. And for that, we cannot thank you enough. So let's hand out these awards, say thank you multiple times. We are so proud of all of you, and we thank you for your service. All right, here we go. Let's bring Director Michael Rollins of the Memphis Police Department forward for the presentation of the awards. Each year, the Commendation Board, an approved board of varying ranks and assignments, meets to review all the nominations for the annual commendation ceremony. So at this time, we're going to start the recognition portion of the ceremony. The very first award presented today will be the Award for Administrative Excellence. Awards of administrative excellence were conferred for non-routine conduct of an administrative nature, which surpassed the responsibilities of the current assignment. This person goes above and beyond. This may include the implementation of a new program or redesigning a current program, and we have 13 recipients for this award this year. With the Commander of Training, Lieutenant Colonel Dennis McNeil, please come up to the stage for the first two awards. And it is our privilege to invite to the stage Officer Matthew Williams. After attending Field Training Officer Coordinator School in 2019, Officer Williams spent countless hours improving, recreating, and updating the FTO program and its many components. Officer Williams implemented a variety of ideas within the FTO program. These include streamlining the paperwork process, updating the FTO manual, and creating online documentation. Officer Williams also created a detailed tracking system for all FTOs and probationary police officers. So he crosses his T's and dots his I's, and he knows how to use a computer really well. Thank you, Officer Williams, for your service, and congratulations.
It's our privilege to invite to the stage Officer Silas Billington and Nicholas Mays Murphy. In 2019, Officers Billington and Murphy implemented the PST bar for Memphis Police Department Police Service Technicians, or PSTs as they're commonly known. Now, this team selected a ribbon, wrote policy, and created standards to recognize PSTs. After hours of research, meetings, and proposals, the PST bar was approved and added to the commendation program in October 2019. Officers Billington and Murphy, former PSTs themselves, recognized the hard work and sacrifice required to complete the long journey from PST to police officer. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel McNeil and Officers Billington and Mays Murphy.
With the Deputy Chief over Police Information Technology, Deputy Chief Don Crow, please get on your scooter and come forward for the next award. He loves those scooters. You do wear a helmet. Please tell me you wear a helmet. It is our privilege to invite to the stage retired Lieutenant Robin Aubert Hulley. Lieutenant Byron Braxton, and Lieutenant Vanyale Montgomery. Beginning in 2016, Lieutenant Montgomery spearheaded an effort to form a child abduction response team, the CART team, within the Memphis Police Department. And at the time, Lieutenant Montgomery was assigned to the Commission on Missing and Exploited Children unit and knew all too well the dangers and vulnerabilities of abducted children. Lieutenant Albert Hawley and Lieutenant Braxton soon joined in, and they were able to help in the early stages and success of the CART team. Through their tireless efforts and dedication to duty, Lieutenant Braxton, Lieutenant Albert Hawley, and Lieutenant Montgomery oversaw the formation, organization, and ultimately the national certification of the Memphis Police Department's CART team. Congratulations and thank you, Deputy Chief Crow, Lieutenant Albert Hawley, Lieutenant Braxton, and Lieutenant Montgomery.
Would Deputy Director Mike Ryle please come forward for the final Administrative Excellence Award? It's our privilege to invite to the stage Senior Manager for the City of Memphis Health Engagement Office, Mrs. Lynette Hall Lewis, Officers John Cantor, Stacy Faulkner, Michael Williams, Sergeant Essica Cage, Lieutenant Colonel Lenora Armstead, Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Toe, and Deputy Chief Sharonda Hampton. This committee began its review of the Memphis Police Department's wellness program and suicide initiatives in 2017 by conducting a wellness and self-assessment checklist. Over the last 24 months, the committee made several recommendations and key initiatives. Results included a new policy regarding officer wellness, and a federal grant of $100,000 was rewarded to further training and development of the wellness program. The team also introduced a new peer support ribbon and created a digital app that allows members of the Memphis Police Department access to vital mental and emotional health resources. We would also like to take a minute to recognize Mrs. Hall Lewis and her contributions to the MPD Wellness team. Mrs. Hall Lewis has spent countless hours working behind the scenes to initiate and promote officer wellness and resiliency. Her dedication has been pivotal in the success of the Memphis Police Department Officer Wellness and Resiliency programs, training, and resources. Thank you, Deputy Director Ryle, Mrs. Hall Lewis, Officers Cantor, Faulkner, Williams, Sergeant Cage, Lieutenant Colonel Armstead, Lieutenant Colonel Toe, and Deputy Chief Hampton.
Love the sparkly mask. Love, love, love. And we could all use some more wellness and fitness, couldn't we? Anybody else gained the COVID-15 so far since March? Anyone? Come on, y'all. You know you. Thank you. Thank you. Stress eating? Comfort food? Yeah. The next award presented today will be the Medal of Merit. The Medal of Merit is awarded to the Memphis police officer who successfully performs extremely complex and difficult investigations, or who demonstrates exceptional skills and ingenuity in the apprehension of wanted persons. This officer provides outstanding service to the public or continuously achieves excellence in the performance of duties over an extended period of time. And we have 13 recipients for this award. Would the Deputy Chief over Investigative Services, Deputy Chief Michael Sheeran, please come to the stage for the first award? And it is our privilege to also invite to the stage Detectives Tamara Bush and Josh Davis. Beginning in 2017, several unsolved sexual assault cases were reopened and assigned to Detectives Bush and Davis. They reviewed the unsolved crimes and during their investigation submitted several sexual assault kits for DNA analysis. Detectives Bush and Davis were able to locate unknown latent fingerprints collected at the time of the original investigation, and they had them resubmitted for review. Those latent fingerprints later returned with a match to a single male suspect. While researching the suspect, Detectives Bush and Davis were able to locate the suspect's DNA collected in an unassociated crime. Now, upon submitting the suspect's DNA for review, his DNA returned as a match in several unsolved sexual assaults. Detectives Bush and Davis displayed extensive research and dedication, and as a result of their investigation, they solved numerous sexual assaults dating all the way back to 1991. Thank you, Deputy Chief Sharon and Detective Davis and Detective Bush.
Would the commander of OCU, Colonel Marcus Worthy, please come to the stage for the final two medals of merit? It is our privilege to invite to the stage Detectives Miranda Jones, Christopher Malsom, Marcus Walker, Bryson Willis, and Sergeant Tony Parks. After partnering with the ATF, the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Bureau, the Memphis Police Department saw a need to create a unit to investigate gun crimes. A 5-member team was created to review all NIBIN, National Integrated Ballistic Information Network cases. NIBIN contains digital images of recovered ballistic evidence from a weapon that has been fired. In 2019, this team did not hesitate to review over 1,270 cases. Through their detailed investigation, they were able to obtain a clearance rate of 42%. Thank you, Detectives Jones, Malsom, Walker, Willis, and Sergeant Parks.
And just to let you know, when you see me on my phone, I'm not being rude. I'm tweeting out pictures and posting to social media. So I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm just making sure that people know this good work is going recognized, yes? It is our privilege to invite to the stage Detectives Justin Banks, Jess Browning, Jaboa Childs, Derek Pittman, Sergeant Brian Beasley, and Lieutenant Andre Pruitt. In 2018, MGU, the multi-agency gang unit, started investigating the Memphis Mob. The Memphis Mob is a gang with a history of violence and large-scale narcotics trafficking stretching back to the 1990s. The MPD team started its investigation with detailed research. This entailed reviewing old case files, talking with past investigators, and visiting countless incarcerated cooperators. This investigation led to the state of Tennessee's very first gang electronic surveillance operation, and at the conclusion, the team was able to seize $282,000, more than 1,000 grams of cocaine, 22 cars, 21 firearms, and 38 gang members were arrested. So let's thank Colonel Worthy, Detectives Banks, Browning, Childs, Pittman, Sergeant Beasley, and Lieutenant Pruitt. Thank you. And as they continue to hand out the plaques and take their pictures, did everyone miss having lunch this year? Different without it, isn't it? It's time to get to know your neighbor. When you can't get busy eating, you got to get busy talking. And it's not so easy with the masks on this year, is it? But you're doing it. And once again, we want to say thank you to Colonel Worthy, Detectives Banks, Browning, Childs, Pittman, Sergeant Beasley, and Lieutenant Pruitt. 38 gang arrests is significant. And as a reporter, I didn't know that this was the state's first gang electronic surveillance operation. Karen, I'll be emailing you to get more details, wherever you are.
We're not going to talk about surveillance.
Oh, we don't talk about surveillance. If you don't have anything to hide, you don't have anything to worry about. It's a fact. It's a fact. That's the reporter in me. Yep. Mm. All right.
Joyce Peterson talking about the COVID-15 and then missing lunch. That's how we got it. All right, the next award presented today will be the Life-Saving Medal. The Life-Saving Medal will be awarded to officers who, by their immediate actions, saved a human life or prolonged the life of a person for at least 24 hours under unusual or extraordinary circumstances. Today, we have 11 recipients of this award. Would the commander of Austin Peay Station, Colonel Joseph Smith, please come to the stage for the first Life-Saving Medal? It is our privilege to invite to the stage Officers Jacob Lenhart and Dominic Starks. Officers Lenhart and Starks responded to a vehicle crash on Covington Pike at Stage Road. Upon arrival, they observed a pickup truck with severe crash damage and could also see the front end of the truck was on fire. Officers Lenhart and Starks immediately approached the vehicle and located the driver. He was unconscious and restrained by his seatbelt. Officers Stark and Lenhart cut the seatbelt and freed the driver. Both officers pulled the victim from the vehicle seconds before it was completely engulfed in flames. Thank you, Colonel Smith, Officers Starks, and Lenhart.
All right, would the commander of Tillman Station, Colonel Prentice Jolly, please come to the stage for the next two life-saving awards. And it is our privilege to also invite to the stage Officer Jacob Tilton. On July 5th, 2019, Officer Tilton responded to a shooting at 3201 Given Avenue. When he got there, Officer Tilton located a victim lying on the ground, bleeding profusely from his leg. Officer Tilton cut away the victim's clothing and exposed a large gunshot wound. Officer Tilton quickly used his MPD-issued pocket medical kit and applied a tourniquet to the victim's leg. The victim was transported to the hospital in critical condition, but survived his injury thanks to Officer Tilton's immediate actions. Thank you, Officer Tilton.
It's our privilege to invite to the stage Officers Andrew Gross, Matthew Heisler, and Valentina Sandberg. On July 18th, 2019, officers were on routine patrol when they observed a suspicious vehicle parked near a closed business on Wells Station Road. Officers approached the vehicle and were met by the vehicle's driver, who stated he and his friend had been injecting heroin. Now his friend was unresponsive. Officers Heisler, Gross, and Sandberg attempted to wake the victim, but were unsuccessful. Officer Gross administered 4 separate shots of Narcan as Officer Heisler and Sandberg began CPR. After the Narcan was administered, all 3 officers rotated performing CPR until the paramedics arrived. The victim gained consciousness and was transported to the hospital in non-critical condition. A Memphis Fire Department supervisor later stated the use of Narcan and CPR contributed to saving that man's life. Thank you, Colonel Jolly, Officers Gross, Heisler, and Sandberg.
All right, would the commander of the North Main Station, Colonel Gloria Bullock, please come to the stage for the next 2 life-saving awards. Unfortunately, our next recipient was not able to join us today, Officer Christopher Williams. He's been on TV a couple of times, though. On May 16th, 2019, North Main Station officers responded to a shooting at 810 Breedlove. Upon arrival, officers located a man bleeding from a gunshot wound to his chest. Officer Williams got his MPD-issued pocket medical kit and placed a seal onto the victim's chest. He applied gauze and pressure to another wound in the victim's lower abdomen and held the pressure until paramedics arrived. The victim was taken in critical condition but survived. A Memphis Fire Department supervisor later stated that Officer Williams' quick actions and the proper use of his MPD medical kit saved that victim's life. Officer Williams, thank you.
It is our privilege to invite to the stage Officers Jody Ledford and Alfonso Perea. On June 18, 2019, officers Ledford and Perea were dispatched to a shooting at 677 North Dunlap. Upon arrival, officers located a victim with a gunshot wound to his upper leg. The victim was in shock and losing vast amounts of blood due to the bullet striking an artery in his leg. Officers Ledford and Perea acted swiftly and applied a tourniquet to the victim's leg. The victim was transported to the hospital in critical condition, but survived his injuries. Thank you, Colonel Bullock, Officers Ledford and Perea.
Would the Commander of Special Operations, Colonel Keith Watson, please come to the stage now for our final life-saving award today. It is also our privilege to invite to the stage Officers Michael Duffy and Michael Nelson. On September 28, 2019, Memphis Police Dispatch received a call about a suicidal person trying to jump from a bridge into the river near Mud Island. Responding officers arrived on the scene and talked with the suicidal man. Meanwhile, the Memphis Police Department's Harbor Patrol Unit, Officers Duffy and Nelson, arrived and positioned their patrol boat underneath the bridge. The person stated he wanted to kill himself, and then he jumped from the bridge into the Wolf River. Officers Duffy and Nelson acted quickly and proceeded to where the man had gone into the water. Officer Duffy jumped into the river and held the man's head above the water, while Officer Nelson assisted in pulling both Officer Duffy and the suicidal person out of the Wolf River. Thank you, Colonel Watson, and thank you, Officers Duffy and Nelson.
The next award will be the Medal of Valor. The Medal of Valor will be awarded to the Memphis police officer whose acts exemplify heroism and valor. The officer must have demonstrated courageous behavior upon being confronted by a potentially dangerous adversary. Would the commander of Ridgeway Station, Colonel Anthony Rudolph, please come forward to present this award? It is our privilege to invite to the stage officers Cynthia Butler, Joseph Hibbler, Jonathan Hightower, Nolan Johnson, Lawrence Miller, William Self, Lieutenant Doniel Hopkins, and Major Gary Badgett. On August 13th, 2019, Lieutenant Hopkins was approached by a male suspect who advised he had a child in his car and was planning to kill her. The suspect then sped away in his vehicle. Lieutenant Hopkins issued a broadcast on the radio, at which time officers Butler, Hibbler, Hightower, Johnson, Miller, Self, and Major Badgett checked the area and located the vehicle. Officers were able to locate the suspect and initiated a traffic stop. Upon stopping his vehicle, the suspect set the interior of the vehicle on fire and doused himself in gasoline. Before sustaining injury, the suspect exited his vehicle and was taken into custody. It was later learned the suspect had released the 4-year-old child just before the officers located him, but after he spoke with Lieutenant Hopkins. It was also discovered that the suspect had set the child's mother on fire just prior to his confrontation with Lieutenant Hopkins. The actions of these officers not only saved the child's life, but helped solve a crime where the victim sustained extremely critical injuries. With their actions, these officers not only went above and beyond the call of duty and placed themselves in harm's way, they apprehended a violent criminal suspect. Thank you, Colonel Rudolph, Officers Butler, Hibbler, Hightower, Johnson, Miller, Self, Lieutenant Hopkins, and Major Badgett.
So many heroes in one place. The next award presented today will be the Service Medal Accidents Award. The Service Medal for Accidents will be awarded to the Memphis police officer who, as a result of accidental causes during enforcement activities, was seriously, critically, or fatally injured while in performance of his or her police duties. And we have one recipient for this award this year. Would the Assistant Commander of the Mount Moriah Station, Lieutenant Colonel Eddie Bass, please come to the stage to present this award? And it is our privilege to also invite to the stage Officer Dylan Stroy. On January 25th, 2019, Officer Stroy was dispatched to an accident on Winchester near Swinney Road. While sitting in his patrol car doing his paperwork, a Chevy Impala struck a parked PST patrol car. That PST patrol car then hit Officer Stroy's patrol car. The force of the impact knocked Officer Stroy's patrol car more than 50 feet from the point of the initial impact. Officer Stroy suffered a broken ankle that required extensive time in the hospital and multiple surgeries to repair. The driver of the suspect vehicle was arrested for driving while intoxicated and 3 counts of aggravated assault. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Bass, and thank you, Officer Stroy. We're so blessed to have you with us today.
The next award presented today will be the Station Bureau or Unit Officer of the Year. Will the recipients of the Officer of the Year award please line up for their award? Commanders, will you please join your officers? Each year, an officer is selected to represent his or her duty station as Officer of the Year. Officers are nominated by their commanders based on their performance throughout the year. The synopsises that follow offer only a highlight of the officer's activities, a representation of some of their best work. These officers are without a doubt the best in blue. Austin Peay Station Officer of the Year, Michael Staten. Officer Staten is an 11-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and is assigned to Austin Peay Station. Officer Staten is an FTO and is proactive in handling calls in a ward that is one of the busiest in Austin Peay Station. He has a great relationship with business owners within the station and is highly respected for his work, ethics, and judgment. Thank you, Colonel Smith and Officer Staten.
Rain Station Officer of the Year, Officer Chad Looney. In his 3-year career, relatively new. In his 3-year career, Officer Looney has proven to be an outstanding officer and a leader among his peers. In 2019, Officer Looney was nominated for Rain Station Officer of the Month several times and was selected as Officer of the Month twice. He consistently leads his shift in productivity, routinely backs up his fellow officers, and is considered a strong and reliable presence on any scene. Officer Looney is committed to protecting and serving the citizens of Memphis and continually displays a tremendous work ethic. Thank you, Colonel Williams, and thank you, Officer Chad Looney.
Mount Moriah Station Officer of the Year, Officer Raymond Martin. Officer Martin is a 3-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department. His kind heart and dedication make him an asset to the citizens of Memphis as well as the Memphis Police Department. Officer Martin's will to serve, his zest for justice, and calm tenacity for his job is why he has been selected as Mount Moriah Station Officer of the Year. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Bass and Officer Martin.
Crump Station Officer of the Year is Officer Paul Thomas. In just over 2.5 years, Officer Thomas has established himself as a leader on his shift. In 2019, he was nominated for Crump Officer of the Month. How many times do you think he was nominated? Take a guess. Nominated 6 times. That's amazing. And was selected as Officer of the Month twice. Officer Thomas is proactive and consistently leads his shift in arrests. He is an officer that leads by example and has quickly gained the respect of his fellow officers. Thank you, Colonel Jackson, and thank you, Officer Paul Thomas.
Now on to the Tillman Station Officer of the Year, Officer Clarence Neal. Officer Neal is a 15-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and is currently assigned to the Tillman Station. In 2019, Officer Neal became a field training officer to help set an example and provide training to young officers. Officer Neal conducts himself in a professional manner and welcomes the opportunity to serve the citizens of Memphis. Officer Neal is efficient and has refined his skills to the point he needs little or no supervision. He is truly an asset to Tillman Station. Thank you, Colonel Jolly and Officer Neal.
Now to the North Main Station Officer of the Year, Officer Michael Roser. Officer Roser is a 22-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and is currently assigned to the North Main Station as Intelligence Officer. He is responsible for daily, weekly, and monthly reports that are submitted to the Memphis Police Department's command staff. His reports require developing charts and graphs that are reviewed by the command staff, as well as local and federal police agencies. Officer Roser's work is vital in the operation of North Main Station. Thank you, Colonel Bullock, and thank you, Officer Michael Roser.
Airway Station Officer of the Year, Officer Mujahid Abdelatif. Officer Abdelatif patrols his ward in a proactive manner, carrying out his assignments in exemplary fashion. In his 11-year career, Officer Abdelatif is always above average in his duties and productivity and is an asset to his shift. In 2019, Officer Abdelatif was nominated for Airway Station Officer of the Month 9 times. Thank you, Colonel Burnett and Officer Abdelatif.
Appling Farms Station Officer of the Year is Officer Alexander Fleets. Officer Fleets is a 5-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department. In 2019, Officer Fleets was nominated as Appling Farms Officer of the Month 3 times and was selected twice. Officer Fleets demonstrates the qualities of a seasoned veteran who is always ready to work and takes pride in providing a service to the citizens of Memphis. He is proactive in his policing and is quick to volunteer for special assignments. Thank you, Colonel Sheffield, and thank you, Officer Alexander Fleets.
Ridgeway Station Officer of the Year, Nathan Micah Smith. In just over 1 year as a Memphis police officer, Officer Smith has proven himself to be passionately driven to increase community awareness, maintain a positive attitude, serve and protect the citizens of Memphis, and aid in decreasing the crime rate within Ridgeway Station. Officer Smith maintains a strong work ethic and performs all duties assigned by his supervisors. Officer Smith is not only an asset to Ridgeway Station, but to the city of Memphis. Thank you, Colonel Rudolph and Officer Smith.
Time now for the Police Communications Dispatcher of the Year, Linda Hollingsworth. Police Radio Dispatcher, did I hear a little woo? Come on, let's hear it. Woo! There you go. All right, we're hanging at that table. Police Radio Dispatcher Linda Hollingsworth has been with the Memphis Police Department for 8 years now, and during that time, she has performed beyond expectations. She is a standout employee who is just as efficient as she is consistent. Her strong work ethic and personal integrity are highly admired. PRD Hollingsworth takes pride in the public safety profession and gives excellent customer service to the citizens of Memphis and to her fellow law enforcement officers. Thank you, Michael Spencer, and thank you, PCD, Linda Hollingsworth.
COP Officer of the Year, Officer John Granberry. Officer Granberry is a 20-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and is currently assigned to the Community Outreach Program, or COP unit. During his time, he has proven to be an asset to the department through his dedication and devotion to duty. In 2019, he worked with communities across the city on problems such as hunger, blight, police recruitment, and youth crime prevention. His excellent relationship with the community and outstanding investigation skills also allows him to make numerous arrests that influence crime. Thank you, Officer Granberry.
All right, new in 2020 is the General Investigations Bureau Investigator of the Year Award. And this year, the GIB Investigator of the Year Award goes to Detective Terrence Dabney. Detective Dabney couldn't be here with us, but I'll read you the narrative now. He's a 23-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department, currently assigned to the Airways Station General Assignment Bureau. Detective Dabney consistently exhibits the highest degree of professionalism, possesses a true concern for the citizens every time he encounters them. His commitment to the law enforcement profession is evident every single day when he arrives for work. His written communications are precise and detailed and give account for the sequencing of events in a clear, concise, and chronological order. Detective Dabney works his cases to conclusion, which usually ends with an arrest. His clearance rate in 2019 was among the best in the department. Unfortunately, Detective Dabney couldn't be here with us today, but we would like to again recognize GIB Investigator of the Year, Detective Terrence Dabney.
Would the Deputy Chief over Investigative Services, Deputy Chief Michael Sharon, please return to the stage for the next award? They're here. They're already here. I got to just look over my shoulder. All right. Investigative Services Investigator of the Year, Detective Jamal Salisbury. Officer Salisbury is an 11-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and is currently assigned to the Violent Crimes Unit, or VCU. Detective Salisbury consistently exhibits the highest degree of professionalism and displays a true concern for the citizens of Memphis. Detective Salisbury is always willing to take the lead on investigations and displays a very high level of commitment to law enforcement. Thank you, Deputy Chief Sharon and Detective Salisbury.
All right, would the commander of OCU, Colonel Marcus Worthy, please return to the stage for the next 2 awards. Multi-Agency Gang Unit Officer of the Year is Detective Christopher Beatty. Detective Beatty is a 19-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and is currently assigned to the Multi-Agency Gang Unit. Since being assigned to the unit, Detective Beatty has quickly established himself as a valuable asset not only to MGU, but to every bureau within the Memphis Police Department and with the federal government. Detective Beatty is a leader and a team player. Detective Beatty assists his team with information even when he's off duty, and he does it without hesitation. Detective Beatty is an asset to reducing crime and providing a safer community for the citizens of Memphis. Please help me thank Multi-Agency Gang Unit Officer of the Year, Detective Christopher Beatty.
Narcotics Officer of the Year, Detective Ian James. Officer James is an 18-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department. He's dedicated his career to fighting crime and making a difference in the Memphis-Shelby County community. Detective James exemplifies the very essence of hard work and dedication. In 2019, Detective James was instrumental in solving a high-profile case that involved the individuals selling fentanyl that was causing numerous overdoses and national media coverage. Solving this case resulted in over 30 arrests, 25 handguns being seized, and 101.8 grams of fentanyl being recovered. From working high-profile cases to training new police recruits and assisting in the management of the Memphis Police Department's organized crime undercover team, Detective James is a true asset. Thank you, Colonel Worthy and Officer James. Good job.
All right, would the Commander of Special Operations, Colonel Keith Watson, please come forward for the next 3 awards. First one, Special Operations Officer of the Year, and the winner is Sergeant Calvin Taylor. Sergeant Taylor is a, you can applaud. Was there applause about to break out? Do it, go for it. Don't be shy. It's 2020, we need all the applause we can get. Sergeant Taylor, a 22-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department, is currently assigned to the MPD's Special Events Unit. You have been busy. Sergeant Taylor's duties include planning, staffing, supervising officers during numerous specialized events with 0 to minimal incidents. He has been instrumental in planning and escorting high-profile dignitaries, such as the President of the United States, during his visit to Memphis. In 2019, Sergeant Taylor processed more than 500 permits and invoice payments for non-permitted events that occurred within the city of Memphis. Sergeant Taylor has always been willing to accept difficult challenges without cause and with a can-do attitude. Thank you, Sergeant Calvin Taylor, Special Operations Officer of the Year.
Traffic Unit Officer of the Year, Sergeant Lee Potts. Sergeant Potts is a 22-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and is currently assigned to the Traffic Division. Upon arrival to the Traffic Division, Sergeant Potts quickly became a shift leader and proved to be a very intense investigator as he solved several fatal and critical injury crashes. Sergeant Potts' experience led him into 2019 as a strong role model as he took on several roles while training new investigators. Sergeant Potts always displays a positive approach to training and the changing process of traffic investigation. Thank you, Colonel Watson and Sergeant Potts. And on a personal note, as your neighbors of the traffic division at 1960 Union Avenue, we are truly, truly sad to see you move. But we are so happy about your new place at Raleigh Station. So congratulations on your new home, but do know your Midtown friends and neighbors miss you.
That is an understatement. All right, the next award is for Training Academy Officer of the Year, and the recipient is Officer Angelic Colbert Williams, and I don't think she was able to be here with us. Officer Colbert Williams is a 24-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department assigned at the Training Academy. Officer Colbert Williams is the Tennessee Post Commission Coordinator for the Memphis Police Department. She's responsible for maintaining records and requirements set forth by the Post Commission. This is a daunting task that requires extreme organization, impeccable record keeping, and maintaining a great relationship with the Post Commission. She's involved and responsible at every level of a Memphis police officer's career, from pre-employment, hiring requirements, police recruit records, graduating recruits records, and other records for all Memphis police officers. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel McNeil, and thank you and congratulations. The Training Academy Officer of the Year, Officer Angelic Colbert Williams.
The next award presented today will be the Station Bureau or Unit Supervisor of the Year. With Deputy Chiefs over Uniform Patrol, District 1 and District 2, Deputy Chief Samuel Hines and Deputy Chief Paul Wright, please come forward to present the next 9 awards. Will the recipients of the Supervisor of the Year award please line up for their award? Each year, a supervisor is selected to represent his or her duty station as the division's Supervisor of the Year. Supervisors are nominated by their commanders based on their performance throughout the year. The synopsis that follow offer only a highlight of the supervisor's activities, a representation of some of their best work. These Supervisors of the Year are without a doubt the best in blue. Austin P. Station Supervisor of the Year, Lieutenant Robert Brown. Lieutenant Brown is a 23-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and is currently assigned to the Austin P. Station. Lieutenant Brown effectively communicates with his superiors, peers, and subordinates. He's a motivator, enforcer, and a community advocate. Lieutenant Brown is optimistic and open to suggestions from his shift and strives to keep officers motivated as they perform their duties at Austin P. Station. Thank you, Lieutenant Brown.
Rain Station Supervisor of the Year, Lieutenant Joe Owen. Lieutenant Owen is a 24-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and is currently assigned to Rain Station. Lieutenant Owen is a veteran supervisor, highly respected by his peers, fellow supervisors, and subordinates. Lieutenant Owen handles numerous duties, which include supervision, scheduling, training, entering daily shift statistics, and employee payroll, very important. He is a mentor to young officers and has proven to be proficient in managing critical incident scenes, directing manpower, and engaging the public in a positive and professional manner. Thank you and congratulations to Rain Station Supervisor of the Year, Lieutenant Joe Owen.
Mount Moriah Station Supervisor of the Year, Antonio Gray. Lieutenant Gray is a 23-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department. He's committed to delivering quality-based customer service and sets the example for a highly productive and positive work environment. Lieutenant Gray delivers innovative service by leadership, teamwork, offering effective training, and treating everyone with respect. Lieutenant Gray performs duties in a professional manner and is in a professional manner and is an enjoyable individual with whom to work. Lieutenant Gray's work with ethnic and supportive influence is apparent by all officers assigned to Mount Moriah Station. Thank you, Lieutenant Gray.
Crump Station Supervisor of the Year is Lieutenant Jeffrey Herbison. Lieutenant Herbison, a 24-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department, leads by example. He is proactive and shows what can be done when a police officer truly cares and takes the extra steps necessary to do incredible things. He has earned the respect of his officers by being out in the field with them and by not asking them to do something he isn't willing to do himself. Thank you and congratulations, Crump Station Supervisor of the Year, Lieutenant Jeffrey Herbison.
Tillman Station Supervisor of the Year, Lieutenant Sean Hicks. Lieutenant Hicks is a 25-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department. His primary duties are supervising Tillman Station, GIB, and Task Force. He's a valuable instructor and routinely teaches career development courses at the Training Academy. Lieutenant Hicks is always available even while on vacation. He has many positive work attributes, most particularly leadership, dedication, and reliability. He can be counted on to come in on short notice or to supervise a special event that needs extra attention. Thank you, Lieutenant Hicks.
Where is Lieutenant Hicks' family? Are they here? Oh, I just wanted to say thank you, because if you're working on your vacation, you've got some sympathetic family and friends. Congratulations, Lieutenant Hicks, and to the other officers who also work off duty. We know you do it all the time. Let's do North Main Station Supervisor of the Year now, Lieutenant Jeffrey Dunn. Lieutenant Dunn couldn't be with us, but he is a 23-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and is currently assigned to the Entertainment District Unit, the EDU, a unit that is under the command of the North Main Station. Lieutenant Dunn constructs complex, detailed operation plans for large events that encompass Beale Street and the area around Beale Street. Some of the events include New Year's Eve celebration, where we saw the director and his command staff took a great selfie. Good, safe evening down on Beale Street. Thank you to the MPD. He also handles the 4th of July Festival, Memphis in May events, and weekly Beale Street operations. Lieutenant Dunn has proven capable of handling any situation that could arise. It is through Lieutenant Dunn's guidance that Beale Street remains one of the safest tourist destinations in the world, and that is reason for bragging rights. Unfortunately, Lieutenant Dunn was unable to join us today, but he is the North Main Station Supervisor of the Year, Lieutenant Jeffrey Dunn.
Airway Supervisor of the Year, Lieutenant Dexter Moses. Lieutenant Moses is a 31-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and possesses impressionable qualities as a law enforcement officer, of which he exemplifies daily. He is looked upon by his peers as a leader, self-starter, teacher, and motivator. He is professional, polite, and has a pleasing personality. Lieutenant Moses is enthusiastic about his career and often demonstrates exceptional work habits and leadership qualities by mentoring and teaching officers under his command. Thank you, Lieutenant Moses. Congratulations.
The Appling Farm Station Supervisor of the Year is Lieutenant Anthony Lee. Lieutenant Lee is a 26-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and has a genuine love for his job and also for the citizens of Memphis. He is dependable, punctual, and takes his supervisory responsibilities seriously. He rarely calls in sick and can always be counted on to work and get the job done properly and timely. Lieutenant Lee holds officers under his command accountable and accepts nothing but the best performance from them. Lieutenant Lee continuously demonstrates true leadership and does not shy away from his supervisory duties. He often demonstrates his desire to play his part in reducing crime by leading shift details and working with his subordinates. Thank you, Appling Farm Station Supervisor of the Year, Lieutenant Anthony Lee.
Ridgeway Station Supervisor of the Year, Lieutenant Pete Smith. Lieutenant Smith is a 26-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and has served in any capacity during his career. Lieutenant Smith performs multiple roles as lieutenant for Ridgeway Station. He leads dutiful and manages tasks and assignments without losing focus. Lieutenant Smith leads by example and works tirelessly alongside the officers under his supervision. Thank you, Deputy Chief Hines, Deputy Chief Wright, and Lieutenant Smith.
All right, would Emergency Communications Administrator Michael Spencer please return to the stage for our next award? This is for Police Communications Supervisor of the Year, and the award goes to Matrika Spears. Senior Police Radio Dispatcher Matrika Spears is a 17-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department's Emergency Communications Bureau. She exemplifies the mission of the Bureau with unrelenting integrity, honesty, and extraordinary commitment. When she is not at work, she continues to represent the department well with community engagement and service projects. Senior PRD Matrika Spears provides exceptional support and service to everyone she encounters during her day. Thank you, Michael Spencer, and thank you and congratulations, Matrika Spears.
Would the Deputy Chief over Special Operations, Deputy Chief Hardy, please return to the stage to present the next 4 awards? COP Supervisor of the Year, Sergeant Wesley Littlejohn. Oh yeah, there you go. He's got a cheering section there. Sergeant Littlejohn is a 22-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and is currently assigned to the Community Outreach Program, or COP unit, where he is shown to be a strong leader. During his time with the unit, Sergeant Littlejohn has helped to initiate programs that have both motivated officers and strengthened the bond between the police and the community. As a patrol officer, Sergeant Littlejohn was a founding member of the COP unit. His personal experience and knowledge have made the COP unit a better community policing unit. Thank you, Deputy Chief Hardy, Sergeant Littlejohn.
And Sergeant has the best picture. That is a great smile in your picture. Congratulations, Sergeant. Would the Deputy Chief over Investigative Services, Deputy Chief Michael Sheeran, please return to the stage to present the next award. Getting your steps in, Chief. Getting your steps in. Investigative Services Supervisor of the Year goes to Lieutenant Anthony Mullins. Lieutenant Mullins is a 31-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department, currently assigned to the Homicide Bureau as Administrative Supervisor. He handles the day-to-day duties of the Bureau and assists other members of the unit when needed. He frequently teaches new police recruits out at the training academy, as well as a block of instruction for each career development training session. He's currently developing a training curriculum for the Homicide Bureau, the Violent Crimes Unit, the Heroin Team, the General Investigation Bureaus, and station-level task force officers. Thank you, Deputy Chief Sheeran, and congratulations and thank you, Lieutenant Anthony Mullins.
Multi-Agency Gang Unit Supervisor of the Year, Lieutenant Kevin Brown. Lieutenant Brown is a oh yeah, go ahead. Don't never stop applause for a police officer, never. Lieutenant Brown is a 23-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and is currently assigned to the MGU Gang Response Team, where he continues to serve his community with the highest level of distinction and professionalism. Lieutenant Brown quickly established himself as a very valuable asset to MGU and is involved in a multitude of criminal investigations that include any crime a gang member may be involved in. The fluidity required to manage the day-to-day activities at MGU would have been insurmountable to any lesser leader. However, Lieutenant Brown took on these challenges with vigor and gusto. His leadership allows MGU to function at the highest levels. Thank you, Lieutenant Brown.
Narcotics Supervisor of the Year, Major Renwick Cowens. Major Cowens is a 32-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department, currently assigned to Crump Station. In 2019, Major Cowens was assigned to the Organized Crime, Vice, and Narcotics team. While a supervisor in OCU and Vice, he was successful in leading the charge against prostitution, human trafficking, drugs, and weapons violations. Major Cowan has shown he is an asset to the Organized Crime Unit, to the Memphis Police Department, and to the city of Memphis. Thank you and congratulations. Narcotics Supervisor of the Year, Major Renwick Cowens.
Special Observations Supervisor of the Year, Lieutenant Max Howard. Lieutenant Howard is a 20-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and is currently assigned to the Memphis Police Department's Air Support Unit. His responsibilities include maintaining the unit's budget, working with mechanics, and designing training. Lieutenant Howard's dedicated service and tireless work ethic to the citizens of Memphis is unparalleled. His service has provided a better quality of life for those who reside within the city of Memphis, the Memphis Police Department, and the Air Support Unit. Thank you, Lieutenant Howard.
Traffic Division Supervisor of the Year, Lieutenant Delbert Polk. Lieutenant Polk is a 26-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department, currently assigned to the traffic unit. As supervisor, Lieutenant Polk takes the time to train new sergeants on how to properly conduct crash investigations where those involved are in critical condition or they've been fatally injured. He also supervises traffic sergeants who investigate vehicle crashes that involve City of Memphis vehicles and vehicle pursuits involving the Memphis Police Department. Lieutenant Polk is also one of the few members of the department that can download crash data retrieval units and analyze the results. A lot of crashes occur in the city of Memphis. You are a very busy man. Congratulations and thank you to Traffic Division Supervisor of the Year, Lieutenant Delbert Polk.
Would Deputy Director James Ryle please come forward to present the next award? Training Academy Supervisor of the Year, Lieutenant Dennis Manning. Lieutenant Manning is a 23-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and is currently assigned to the Firearms Training Unit. As supervisor of the FTU, Lieutenant Manning oversaw the firearms portion of training for 3 basic police recruit classes, 2 regional police recruit classes, and yearly in-service firearm training for Memphis police officers. Lieutenant Manning supervised 15 staff members and effectively managed an operating budget of just over $1.4 million with a 100% accuracy rate. In doing so, he secured contracts with multiple vendors, ensuring that the FTU had the necessary tools and supplies to handle training needs. Thank you, Deputy Director Ryle and Lieutenant Manning.
All right, Director, you ready? These are yours. Here we go. The next award presented today will be the Director's Award. The Director's Award may be issued to a member of the department who has shown initiative, tenacity, and expertise while carrying out their duties. Members of the department who have also completed outstanding acts of community service, which are not normally recognized or expected as part of normal duties, or members who show progressive leadership qualities, which contribute to the accomplishments of the department's goals, or any member who has distinguished him or herself for exemplary service to the department. Recipients of this award are selected by the Director of Police Services, Director Mike Rawlings, and we have 12 recipients for this award this year. It is our privilege to invite to the stage MPD Finance Manager, retired, not retired, retired, not retired, Mr. Chuck Fox. Chuck Fox has been an instrumental employee for the Memphis Police Department for many, many years. Mr. Fox served as the MPD Finance Manager from 2000 to 2010 when he retired from the city of Memphis. Now, upon his retirement, he worked for the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, where he served as Finance Manager for several years. In November of 2016, Mr. Fox was then asked to return to the police department to assist the Financial Services Division for fiscal year 2018 and fiscal year 2019 budget preparations. Without hesitation, Mr. Fox sacrificed time with family and willingly came out of retirement to guide the Police Financial Services Division through 2 budget cycles. During that time, Mr. Fox was influential in increasing the monetary collections for special events to an unprecedented 72% for fiscal year 2018. By overseeing the finalization of contracts with Shelby County Schools, streamlining processes, and training the finance staff on special events collections, the Memphis Police Department adjusted financing to where we are today. Chuck Fox's overall efforts ensured that the Memphis Police Department is on solid financial ground by maximizing savings and reducing spending. Additionally, in utilizing his expertise, Mr. Fox was instrumental in hiring and training his successor. You're never going to get to retire, you know that, right? Hiring and training his successor and remained dedicated as a consultant before returning to retirement status. In 2019, though, yet again, Mr. Fox was asked to return to the MPD after the MPD Finance Manager was promoted to another position. Mr. Fox returned and assisted with the interim finance manager and continued in that position helping the current MPD finance manager. Mr. Fox's performance is exceptional, and these are the director's words that I am reading. His trustworthiness, financial knowledge, and ability to get the job done, all of that unmatched. Even during the coronavirus global pandemic, Mr. Fox remained dedicated to serve. He is an outstanding public servant and a role model for all. Thank you, Mr. Chuck Fox.
Mr. Fox, never do well once, that which you don't want to do forever. Good job. It is our privilege to invite to the stage Executive Assistants to the Director of Police Services, Ms. Tawana Holmes. Ms. Tawana Holmes has served as an Executive Assistant to the Director of Police Services since 2011. While serving in this position for 2 consecutive directors, Ms. Holmes has remained diligent in her efforts and has displayed nothing other than professionalism. Ms. Holmes is responsible for scheduling hundreds of calendar events for the executive commander staff, processing essential documents, manning 7 administrative employees, and addressing many citizens' concerns while working tirelessly to represent the Memphis Police Department positively. Additionally, Ms. Holmes responds to numerous emails and phone calls on behalf of the command staff that require immediate attention without fail. She is able to manage the tremendous workload and is always willing to put in an extra effort to serve the Memphis Police Department and the citizens of Memphis. Ms. Holmes' attention to detail and professionalism is vital to the success of the Director of Police Services and Executive Command staff. Her hard work and dedication are commendable and worthy of praise. And that is a direct quote from Director Rollins. Thank you, Ms. Holmes.
All right, it is our privilege now to welcome to the stage MPD Grants Manager, Mrs. Julie Nations. Mrs. Julie Nations served as the MPD Grants Manager since 2006, and over her 14 years of service, Mrs. Nations' efforts have allowed the Memphis Police Department to acquire millions of dollars that support the MPD's overall goals. Understanding the importance of providing the best police services possible, Mrs. Nations remains dedicated and steadfast in seeking out and meeting grant qualifications that allow the MPD to enhance hiring processes, reduce crime, retain and acquire needed equipment, and stay up to date with technology. This year, Mrs. Nations operated under tight deadlines and has been required to submit grants within days of the announcement. Without hesitation, even throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Mrs. Nations led her team by researching, meeting deadlines, and working extended hours to get those grant applications submitted. Have you ever seen the paperwork required for a grant application? It is insane. Despite all of the challenges, during May 2020, the MPD was awarded grant funds of approximately $13.7 million, bringing the total 2020 grant award to $17.2 million. These grants included the Operation Relentless Pursuit Task Force Grant, Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding, and the COPS Hiring Grant of $9.8 million. The COPS Hiring Grant is the largest award in the nation among the 7 Operation Relentless Pursuit cities. Her hard work and dedication are commendable and worthy of praise. Thank you, Mrs. Nations.
It is our privilege to invite to the stage MPD Health and Safety Coordinator, Ms. Laquita Rawlings. Oh yeah. Ms. Laquita Rawlings has served as the Memphis Police Department's Occupational Health and Safety Coordinator since 2008. This has been a year, huh? Bringing 27 years of experience from Methodist Hospital, Rawlings has applied her professionalism and expertise to MPD. Ms. Rawlings is a leader in the health and safety industry and has been recognized by her fellow employees, peers, supervisors, industry providers, and professionals for her dedication and ability to lead. She is a registered respiratory therapist, has a Master of Science in Health Administration, a certified Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, a Human Resources Senior Certified Professional, and is a member of the International Project Management Association. Ms. Laquita Rawlings continually exceeds expectations. Among some of her duties, Ms. Rawlings teaches annual in-service training to all officers, including commanders and executive staff. She ensures all OSHA and TOSHA safety compliance throughout the department, assists with implementing health-related internal policy and procedures, responds to officers' needs during critical incidents, and coordinates medical documentation for all employees. Ms. Rawlings also created the Workstation Safety Liaison Program, which is vital to ensuring safety compliance throughout the department. Additionally, being a forward thinker, Ms. Rawlings spearheaded implementing respirator fit testing for all commissioned officers. In doing so, the MPD Training Academy stockpiled over 2,400 N95 masks that were later found to be a necessity during the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. While most agencies were having difficulties obtaining adequate PPE, MPD was prepared thanks to Ms. Rawlings' efforts and persistence of implementing respirator fit testing. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, Ms. Rawlings has managed over 120 MPD employees who have tested positive for the coronavirus. Also, she's facilitated over 440 employees who have been quarantined. During these unprecedented times, Ms. Rawlings remains steadfast and continuously ensures that the MPD follows all CDC, Shelby County Health, City of Memphis, and MPD infectious disease protocols. Laquita Robbins is diligent in her duties and maintains direct contact with the executive command staff to keep all abreast of day-to-day health and safety matters. Ms. Rawlings is a great asset to the City of Memphis, the Memphis Police Department, and the medical healthcare profession. Thank you, Ms. Rawlings.
It is our privilege now to invite to the stage MPD Legal Advisor, Attorney Zaid Salim. Attorney Zaid Salim serves the City of Memphis. Applause, applause, yes. Come on, work it out, work it out. Attorney Zaid Salim serves the City of Memphis as a Senior Assistant City Attorney and acts as General Counsel to the Director of Police Services and to the Police Command Staff. Mr. Salim has more than 11 years of experience and expertise in matters pertaining to police disciplinary actions, policy development, legislative enactment, and in-service and officer development training, specializing in constitutional policing practices. Additionally, Mr. Salim has successfully litigated numerous court cases through trial and appeal on behalf of the Memphis Police Department and other city government divisions in both state and federal courts. Attorney Salim is an active member of the Memphis Bar Association, the Tennessee Bar Association, the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners, Investigative Committee, the American Bar Association, and the Tennessee Association of Chiefs of Police. In performing his duties, Attorney Salim remains in tune with current events and strives to keep the Memphis Police Department employees informed with pertinent information that ensures that the MPD is in line with the best policies and practices. Attorney Salim serves on the board of the Ben F. Jones chapter of the National Bar Association and the Legal Officers section of the International Association of Chiefs of Police. In 2019, Attorney Zaid Salim received the Ben F. Jones President's Award for personally training more than 1,600 police officers on constitutional issues. He is highly respected and a trusted member of the team and a leader among his peers. Attorney Zaid Salim's eagerness to diligently serve the MPD and the citizens of Memphis, along with his capability to perform his duties effectively, should be commendable and worthy of praise. Thank you and congratulations, Attorney Zaid Salim.
He also has 2 little girls. We will pray for you. It is our privilege to invite to the stage Officer Stephen Betts. Officer Stephen Betts has served as MPD gunsmith for over 19 years and has been a valued member of the Memphis Police Department and the Firearms Training Unit. Officer Betts has been instrumental in completing numerous special projects, assisting with weapons selection, such as the SIG 229R duty handgun, patrol rifles, tasers, the SL6 weapon system, and other less lethal launchers. These selections are instrumental for officer safety and ensure that our officers are equipped with the best tools to perform their duties. Additionally, utilizing Officer Betts' expertise and vast knowledge, MPD has acquired top-of-the-line chemical and impact munitions, distraction devices, handcuffs, body armor, and gas masks. Officer Betts also ensures that MPD weapons are issued, equipment are correctly inventoried, maintained, and repaired. Officer Betts is an asset to the Memphis Police Department and possesses valuable institutional knowledge that has assisted numerous directors, chiefs, and commanders. Thank you, Officer Betts.
All right, this next part is going to be really cool. You ready? Officer Von Brown is currently serving his country and deployed for active duty, but we are able to welcome to the stage virtually. Officer Von Brown was instrumental. There he is. Zoom is a good thing. Officer Von Brown was instrumental in creating the 24-hour MPD Medicop course, where more than 500 officers from MPD and surrounding agencies received life-saving training. While working with MPD's Health and Safety Office, Officer Brown helped select and secure funding for vital equipment needed to ensure that officers have the proper tools on hand to protect themselves and the community they serve. Officer Brown has also trained more than 1,500 MPD officers on point-of-injury care utilizing the TACMed Pocket Medical Kit. Due to Officer Brown's training courses and his ambition to enhance an officer's ability to provide emergency first aid to those in need, his fellow officers are now more knowledgeable on proper techniques that will assist in life-saving measures. Since receiving training, MPD officers have applied life-saving first aid measures to numerous citizens and their fellow officers. In 2011, Officer Von Brown took on the medical instructor's role for the Memphis Police Department's training academy. He immediately retooled the medical training program and started this specialized training that could teach officers up-to-date medical tactics vital to protecting themselves and the community they serve. Through Officer Brown's leadership and by taking the tactical component of the military's popular Combat Casualty Care Course, TCCC, and then combining it with a First Aid for Medical Emergencies class, the Memphis Medicop course was born. During this 24-hour course, students are certified in CPR and AED. They're taught how to manage incidents of cardiac arrest, respiratory failure, stroke, diabetic emergencies, overdose victims, seizures, anaphylaxis, and emergency childbirth, in addition to managing traumatic injuries by applying tourniquets, pressure dressings, wound packing, and chest seals. In 2012, Officer Von Brown began researching multiple options of trauma kits so that officers could be efficiently equipped to help victims who experience life-threatening situations. Officer Brown started evaluating numerous options to find the best fit for his department's needs, and ultimately, the TACMed Pocket Medical Kit was selected as the department's top choice to implement. Over the next couple of years, Officer Brown worked with Tactical Medical Solutions and the MPD's Health and Safety Department to customize the standard PMK and secure funding for more than 1,500 of these pocket medical kits. With Officer Brown's persistence and subject matter expertise, in 2019, all uniformed patrol officers began attending a 4-hour basic training course, which is incorporated into MPD's in-service training. During this training, each officer received a pocket medical kit, and to date, more than 1,500 officers have now been issued one of these kits. More than 500 officers representing multiple agencies have attended the specialized Medicop course. Additionally, Officer Brown has added the Medicop course to basic training, which will provide newly hired police recruits this firsthand knowledge of how to deliver effective life-saving measures. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me say hello and congratulations and thank you to Officer Vaughn Brown. Are we able to hear him or just see him? That's it? All right. Hope he stays safe, and we thank him for his service. He is on a ship somewhere in an undisclosed location.
We heard stories today about how those medical kits that he implemented came in handy in saving lives, so that is quite the accomplishment. It is our privilege to invite to the stage Executive Assistant to the Director of Police Services, Sergeant Daryl Banks. Sergeant Daryl Banks has served as Executive Assistant to the Director of Police Services since 2016. Sergeant Banks is responsible for assisting the Director of Police and the Executive Command staff with day-to-day tasks and has proven himself to be an extremely dependable and esteemed employee. Sergeant Banks' great attitude and willingness to complete any task are vital to the success of the Director of Police Services and the command staff of the Memphis Police Department. Sergeant Banks often serves as an effective communicator when addressing the needs of concerned citizens and has a desire to serve the department and our community with the utmost professionalism. Among his duties of directly serving the Director of Police Services, Sergeant Banks has taken the initiative to create the first Director's Police Advisory Board, which is comprised of various officers who often meet to discuss concerns that officers may have related to MPD. Sergeant Banks' leadership and willingness to listen has been beneficial as a mediator and mentor in his role. Additionally, Sergeant Banks often helps develop ideas of how the administration can recognize and show appreciation for his fellow officers' exemplary community service. Banks was instrumental in the creation of designing the commemorative MLK 50 Challenge coin. In doing so, all MPD officers were provided a small token of appreciation for a job well done. Sergeant Banks has an extensive background and experience as a firearms instructor. Being a veteran officer who is knowledgeable in response to resistance tactics, de-escalation, and firearms techniques, his insight has proven to be useful when developing training policies and practices. Furthermore, being the assistant to the Director of Police Services, Sergeant Banks has successfully maintained confidentiality regarding high-level and sensitive departmental business. Through Sergeant Banks' diligence and loyalty, he has distinguished himself as a vital asset to the Memphis Police Department and should be recognized for his outstanding service. Thank you, Sergeant Banks.
It is our privilege now to invite to the stage Violent Crimes Unit Supervisor, Lieutenant Jimmy Lewis. One more time, come on. All right. In January of 2017, the Violent Crime Unit, VCU, was formed to help combat rising crime in our city. VCU is specifically tasked with investigating carjackings, interstate shootings, and some business robberies. In addition to these assigned investigations, VCU is tasked with assisting the Homicide Bureau, the Sex Crimes Bureau, the Domestic Violence Bureau, the 9-station General Investigative Bureaus, the Multi-Agency Gang Unit, the Safe Streets Task Force, and the Memphis Cargo Theft Task Force. VCU is also a support unit for outside agencies who may need assistance with locating or arresting suspects who've committed violent crimes, such as the alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives, the ATF. Lieutenant Jimmy Lewis was selected as the supervisor of VCU from a list of more than 200 supervisors because of his unparalleled work ethic and his investigative prowess. Under Lieutenant Lewis's leadership, VCU investigators have made 998 felony arrests, carjackings decreased by nearly 5%, business robberies have decreased by more than 55%, and VCU has investigated 94 interstate shootings. His hard work and dedication are both commendable and worthy of praise. Thank you, Lieutenant Lewis.
It is our privilege to invite to the stage Public Information Office Supervisor, Lieutenant Karen Rudolph. Lieutenant Karen Rudolph has served as the Public Information Officer since 2009. Lieutenant Rudolph was appointed this position as a patrol officer under Director Larry Godwin's administration, and she has continued to prove herself over the past 11 years as a strong voice and advocate for the Memphis Police Department and the citizens of Memphis. Lieutenant Rudolph is thus far the longest-standing public information officer that has held this position throughout 3 administrations. Rudolph is a certified master public information and social media officer and is a leader in her field. Utilizing her expertise, Lieutenant Rudolph routinely advises and mentors new and veteran law enforcement public information officers in the local area, advises the executive command staff, supervisors of MPD, and fellow officers on media relations tactics. Y'all need tactics to deal with us? Did not know that. Among Lieutenant Rudolph's duties as the Senior Public Information Officer, she assists with drafting and revising policy and procedures, manages all MPD social media platforms, addresses public concerns, assists the communications team with City Hall, develops written lesson plans and MPD literature, assists with the implementation of the 21st Policing Initiative, and oversees the Media Relations Department for the Memphis Police Department. Lieutenant Randolph is a vital asset to the Director of Police Services and the command staff. Through her diligence and dedicated work ethic, Lieutenant Randolph has developed a team that is responsible for overseeing all open records requests for the MPD, receiving and responding to nearly 300 emails per day, working closely with all investigative services and station bureaus to gather accurate information, and keeping the media and public updated on newsworthy events. Additionally, Lieutenant Rudolph ensures that up-to-date media relation tactics are regularly taught at the Police Academy. Teaching media relations is paramount in response to the demand for police reform and effective messaging in order to deliver transparent and clear information to the public. Lieutenant Randolph's leadership, work ethic, and capability to effectively perform her duties should be commendable and worthy of praise. Congratulations, Karen. Great job.
And about 20 of those 300 emails are from me. Still waiting, Karen. It is our privilege to invite to the stage Commander of Inspectional Services, Lieutenant Colonel Jasper Clay. Lieutenant Colonel Jasper Clay has served as the Inspectional Services Bureau Commander since 2016. During his tenure as the commander, his unit has diligently investigated an average of 900 internal and external complaints a year. Among his duties, Lieutenant Colonel Clay has been instrumental in working with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and the Shelby County District Attorney General's Office regarding the investigation of fatal officer-involved shootings and in-custody deaths. He is responsible for keeping the command staff informed about public concerns and ongoing administrative investigations. Lieutenant Colonel Clay continuously works toward creating up-to-date policy recommendations to ensure that the MPD is current on best policies and practices. Lieutenant Clay was instrumental in drafting policies relative to managing the deployment and proper use of body-worn cameras, response to resistance concerns and de-escalation tactics, and developing adequate document management systems. Under Lieutenant Colonel Clay's leadership, we have successfully expanded the MPD's response to resistance reporting in Blue Team, improved the performance enhancement program alerts, and built upon our relationships and training efforts with the Civilian Law Enforcement Review Board. Lieutenant Colonel Clay continues to lead by example and fosters an environment with high integrity. His ability to ensure that all investigations conducted by MPD's ISB remain fair and unbiased is paramount. Lieutenant Colonel Clay has worked closely with the FBI Tarnished Badge Task Force on investigating officer misconduct and has appeared before City Council, numerous community meetings, and special events, thus helping to restore trust in internal MPD investigations. Lieutenant Colonel Jasper Clay's professionalism and persistence to better the Memphis Police Department and all officers' performance should be recognized and commended. Thank you and congratulations, Lieutenant Colonel Clay.
It is our privilege to invite to the stage Deputy Director of Police Services, James Ryle. Deputy Director James Ryle is a 37-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department and has served as Deputy Director of Police Services since 2016. Deputy Director Ryle is responsible for managing the day-to-day operations of the 27th largest police agency in the United States of America. Among Deputy Director Ryle's responsibilities, he must strategically plan initiatives to combat crime throughout the city of Memphis. He evaluates police recruitment and retention efforts, oversees community outreach programs, evaluates gang intervention techniques, and oversees the MPD's body-worn and in-car camera systems to ensure effective implementation. Deputy Director Ryle has proven time and time again to be a strong leader and a supportive manager for the entire department. Deputy Director Ryle is a dedicated servant who always remains professional and assertive to ensure that MPD employees receive equal opportunities, ample training, up-to-date equipment, and leadership that ensures proper service is provided to the citizens of Memphis. Deputy Director Ryle leads by example and without fail remembers that teamwork, efficiency, understanding, and compassion remain at the forefront when addressing departmental and public concerns. Deputy Director Ryle reflects a can-do attitude and continuously displays an excellent example of what it means to lead with integrity and humility. Deputy Director Ryle is well respected among the rank and file, his peers, citizens in the community, many victims advocates who often praise him for his efforts. Being a motivator and a person of integrity is naturally reflected in his day-to-day operations. Additionally, since 2016, law enforcement across the nation has experienced challenges. During these challenges, Deputy Director Ryle has not wavered. From the 2016 bridge protests to the removal of Confederate statues, to protecting the citizens of Memphis during Confederate 9/01, to planning a successful commemorative MLK 50 event, to combating the coronavirus pandemic, national protests, and civil unrest, Deputy Director Ryle has taken on these challenges without hesitation. Being an advocate for law enforcement and understanding the importance of change and police reform, Deputy Director Ryle has remained hands-on and focused on furthering MPD's approach to being the nation's best police department. These are words directly from our director, Mike Rollins. Deputy Director Mike Ryle is more than a co-worker, he is a brother, a great friend, and a great asset to the Memphis Police Department and to the city of Memphis. Thank you, Deputy Director Ryle. Director Rawlings, will you please stand by?
All right, you ready? This is the Top Cop Award. It's what we've been waiting for. By the way, is this your last award ceremony, or will we have one in the spring before you retire? We don't know. It's up to COVID. We don't know. You may not retire. We don't. I'm a reporter. I'm going to keep it. Okay. Here we go. Top Cop Award. If you're with us again next year, awesome. If not, thank you for everything. You have been a great director. All right. The Commendation Board also reviews nominations for the Memphis Police Department Officer of the Year Award, the Top Cop. The Top Cop is the officer who has risen above all others and has shown superior performance throughout the year. Would Deputy Chief Michael Hardy please return to the stage to assess Director Rollins with the presentation of this award?
Call Ryle back. Ryle.
Does the top cop know he or she is the top cop before it's, oh,
He shouldn't know.
all right. All right, drum roll. Come on, everybody. Drum roll. Here we go. Come on, everybody. Hop in there. Get your hands moving. Get the blood moving. Come on. Come on. I can't hear you. All right, here we go. It is with extreme honor that we announce this year's Top Cop. Your 2019 Memphis Police Department Top Cop Award goes to Detective Christopher Beatty.
Hey, Joy, tell him if he wants to bring his son up or somebody, he can come up.
Detective, if you would like to bring your son up here with you, Director Rollins says if you'd like to bring your son with you, go ahead and do that.
Family,
Family, would you like to join? Come on up. Detective Beatty's family, come on up. Now, you heard a little about Detective Beatty when he was honored as the MGU Officer of the Year, but here are a few more words to describe this year's top cop. Detective Beatty is a 19-year veteran with the Memphis Police Department. His current assignment is the MGU. Detective Beatty is a dedicated police officer who takes pride in every case, crime, or complaint he is assigned. As a leader and a team player, he does his job and does it with passion and integrity. 2019, Detective Beatty assisted numerous bureaus, including homicide, OCU, sex crimes, VCU, and all 9 stations' GIB units. Detective Beatty has also helped create a better collaboration between the Memphis Police Department, the U.S. Marshal Service, and the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. His work ethic is second to none. He pushes others to improve their work capabilities. He is respected by his fellow officers, and he is a mentor to new investigators. The supervisors in MGU recognize his dedication and talents and see the positive spirit he brings to work every single day. In a time where everyone wants something for nothing, Detective Beatty will work on retrieving suspect information, even while off work, on vacation, and he never asks for anything in return. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2019 Memphis Police Officer of the Year, the top cop is Detective Christopher Beatty. Little man gets it, he gets it. Thank you, Deputy Chief Hardy, and thank you, Officer Beatty, and congratulations. All right, this is the portion where we begin to close the ceremony. You ready? And to do that, I will ask Director Rollins to please step forward.
wow, thank you, Joyce and Ron. We really appreciate you. So, first of all, good afternoon. I want to thank everyone for coming out. We couldn't do this without families. And so we really appreciate our families and sponsors for coming out and celebrating these men and women. We definitely want to thank Bellevue Baptist and Dr. Steve Gaines. Bellevue hosts so many things for us. We recently had our recruit graduation, and recruit graduations are tough enough, but to pull all this off with COVID is a task. Awards committee, thank you so much, especially Officer Faulkner, who was just drive and wanted to. He was scared that we wouldn't be able to do this, and we kept talking and working. I said, no, we got to do it, and he wanted to do it, and so we just appreciate y'all coming out. Wearing your masks, social distancing, and putting up with my very wordy narratives for this almost 2 hours. Y'all have no idea how much this means. Joyce and Ron, thank y'all so much. Yeah. So we remember celebrating with you on Beale Street, bringing the new year in. We did not know it would be a new year from I don't know what, so I don't know if I want to see y'all this New Year's because, man, what a year this has been. from the coronavirus to, the horrific death of Mr. George Floyd, to protest and police reform, and wow, what a year. But the truth of the matter is that this really represents law enforcement. Unfortunately, this false narrative is just so pervasive where, the average person can't see behind the headlines. And so families, I need you to share it. Ron and Joyce, I need you to talk about it. Obviously, Karen, you need to answer 300 emails and attach all the pictures to this, because we have to tell our own story. In the absence of someone telling the truth about an organization or a profession, we have to tell our own story. So families, you may not want to post your loved one in uniform this year, but maybe next year, because we know that it is a very difficult year. Most of all, I want to thank you, our officers and our families, for coming out and sharing this experience in this year. You think about it, years from now, grandkids and kids will be looking at pictures going, Mama, why are you wearing a mask? Why has everybody got a mask on? And you'll be able to explain what 2020 was like. Also, the 11 life-saving awards. There has not been one fatal officer-involved shooting in Memphis this year, and I'm going to find me some wood. And I'm going to knock on wood, but if you listen to a lot of people, you think that there were 11 shootings last year versus 11 officers risking their own safety to help someone else. I've watched officers give 30 minutes of CPR, deliver life-saving doses of Narcan, burning buildings and cars, risking their safety, going into gunfire to save people. And that's what our officers really do. And we definitely have to make sure that we share that. And I will close with Joyce. My retirement date is April the 14th. So, Stacy, I'm going to challenge you to try to get all this together. I would like to do it one more time, but, in the life of a police chief, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So I can't guarantee you I will be here, but if God willing and the creek don't rise, like the old people used to say, I'll be here. But I'm here this year. And briefly, I'll close with comments about the Director's Award. Only give 12. Because it's 12 months in a year. There are many more deserving individuals, but it's a good opportunity to recognize some of our unsung heroes that are normally behind the flags, behind the curtains, behind the scene, working their bottom off to make a difference. So these are a special group of people, and I want to at least for everyone that was recognized today, and we got an officer deployed that took time out to join us, and I'm sure y'all went through some pretty logistical hoops to make that happen. But that's how important this ceremony is. And I think about Officer Brown and the work that Laquita did, building the Medicop, building the pocket medical kits, and we get to watch as a command staff, officers bring people back from dead, put on a tourniquet, give CPR. And it's amazing. And I wish more people could see that. And I think that they would really appreciate their dispatchers, their police officers, our civilian employees, because they make it happen. So let's give everyone one big round of applause. And again, just thank you so much. And I hope you remember this day in this very remarkable year. And just know that these officers are going to be tasked. We have a very contentious presidential election coming up. And they're going to be on the front lines, keeping you safe, making sure you can go exercise your constitutional right to vote, making sure that you can get to a testing site, go to the grocery store. Wow. What an amazing group of police officers. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Rollins. And thank you for your steady leadership in good times and bad. We appreciate you, and thank you for your service. The Peacemakers will now honor us with a tribute to all of the recipients, followed by the awards ceremony coordinator, Officer Stacy Faulkner. Good job once again, Stacy, on all of this. And he will recognize our sponsors after the performance of the Peacemakers.
There's a time that comes in all our lives when we're faced with a decision and we choose between the right and wrong with the answer in our hand.
We have chosen to take up the fight and protect the rights of freedom. Though the odds may be against us, still justice will prevail.
Though the road may be rough, in all to make this world a better place, we will serve to protect the rights of freedom. There may be times when we may fall with our backs against the wall. We'll be there.
We'll be there.
Bringing peace tonight across the land.
Forsaking many friends and family for a job that's never ending, just to gain respect from others. That's something money cannot buy.
Thinking back through all the times when we see a friend who's fallen in the serving of his duties, his life's been snatched away.
Though the road may be rough,
And all to make this world a better place.
we will serve
To protect the rights of freedom. There may be times when we may fall with our backs against the wall. We'll be there.
We'll be there.
Bringing peace tonight across the land. Though the road may be rough and all to make this world a better place, we will serve to protect the rights of freedom. There may be times when we may fall with our backs against the wall. We'll be there.
We'll be there. We'll be there.
We'll be there.
We will be there.
We'll be there. Bringing peace tonight across the land. Across the land.
Words do not reach the degree of thanks that I have for our sponsors. Without the generosity of each and every one of the following sponsors, this ceremony would not have been possible. Your support for our officers and your willingness to always say yes to the Memphis Police Department allows us to recognize the great things that are being done in this city for a better Memphis. So I'd like to say a sincerely thank you. With the following sponsors and representatives, please stand when you are called. Graceland, Steverson's Food Stores, and Memphis City Employee Credit Union. We would also like to take this time to recognize the vendors that helped make this event a success. Pat's Prints and Advertising Art Company. Thank you, Bellevue Baptist, Andy Willis, and Dr. Steve Gaines. A special thank you to Maurice Denbo and the Memphis Shelby County Law Enforcement Foundation, for without your help, this ceremony would not have been possible. I would now like to ask Lieutenant Colonel McNeil to return to the stage. Thank you.
I would like to thank Joyce Peterson and Ron Childers, our mistress and master of ceremonies, for once again adding their style and finesse to our ceremony. As we all well can see, that without their talents, we couldn't have done this. Thank you very much. Would you guys please come forward, please?
Oh, man, I'm jonesing.
I do. Would the Memphis Police Department Commendation Committee please stand? When I asked you guys to be a part of this task, little did you know that it would not be easy. I would like to thank each of you for your hard work and your dedication, for I'm sure we all could agree without your efforts, then this would not be a beautiful occasion. Before we depart today, I would like to ask Dr. Chaplain Nelson, please come forward.
To our Director, Michael Rawlins, and to our Deputy Director, James Rao, to the command staff, and to all of our honored law enforcement officers. I want to say this right quickly. Psalms 90 says, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." Psalms 90 says, "The Lord has been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the earth or the world was formed, from everlasting to everlasting, thou art God." Can I ask us to stand as we get ready to have this prayer? Lord, surely we have been experiencing very difficult and extreme times, and yet, no doubt any of us could say to you that we've had our share of troubles, we've had our share of storms, but yet we know that thou art God. And Lord, it's my prayer this evening that you would bless each and every person in this room, and those who put their lives on the line, and yet if they had not been there, the situations could have went another way. We're so thankful for the Best in Blue, and we thank you that you made us a family, and yet we thank you for the community in which our department serve. We thank you for our mayor, Mayor Jim Strickland. And Lord, we ask that you would continue to guide each and every one of them and use those who in the authority, God, to do what they do so that we can do what we need to do. So we thank you for all our guests today, and we pray that no matter what they're going through, that you would speak a word in their heart. For this we ask in your name. Amen.
All of the honorees who received awards today but was not able to take an individual picture, please stand by so you can take a picture, individual picture with the director. That concludes our ceremony. Before we leave, be sure to take a few moments to congratulate these honorees, for they are truly Memphis' finest. Thank you and have a great day.